Chop, chop. In the woods you hear it, whistling all day long. Chop, chop. The never-ending story. Chop, 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 forever strong. Chopping wood like a heartbeat strong, rhythm of the forest in my soul's song. Each log that falls echoes ancient tales of courage, sweat, and the wind that prevails. In the stillness of the morning, before the sun's first light, I grab my axe and head outside to where the trees stand tall. The air is crisp, the world asleep, as I take my steady stance. With every swing I feel the strength of nature's timeless dance. Chop, chop. In the woods you hear it, we swing all day long. The never-ending story, chop, 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 forever strong. Paints the sky and shadows start to grow. I pause to see the fruits of labor in neat and steady rows. With every log I shoulder and every tree I fell, I pay homage to the earth in this sacred woodland spell. In the woods you hear it, we swing all day long. The never-ending story, chop, 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 forever strong. Like a heartbeat strong, rhythm of the forest in my soul's song. Each log that falls echoes ancient tales of courage, sweat, and the wind that prevails. Your silent and sky knows lasting. As twilight paints the sky and shadows start to grow, I pause to see the fruits of labor in neat and steady rows. With every log I shoulder and every tree I fell, I pay homage to the earth in this sacred woodland spell. I pay homage to the earth in the sacred woodland spell. Like a heartbeat strong, rhythm of the forest in my soul's song. Each log that falls echoes ancient tales of courage, sweat, and the wind that prevails. So here's a chopping wood, a timeless chore and art, a symphony of strength and grace that lives within the heart. In the quiet of the forest, where only echoes ring, I'll keep chopping wood and let my spirit sing. Chop, chop. Chop, chop. Chop, chop. Chop, chop. Chop, chop. Like a heartbeat strong, rhythm of the forest in my soul's song. Each log that falls echoes ancient tales of courage, sweat, and the wind that prevails.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Inner Sleuths live stream. Today we're doing another episode of PaxCast because we have some more stuff to talk about. The devs have put out another announcement. Hold on, why is my mic's going here, but it's not? Oh, my Discord's gone. Okay. My Discord's been giving me a lot of trouble, guys. I don't know why it's been crashing. I think I have to reinstall it or something. It's been like crashed. That's why my thing's not lighting up in the top right corner. Just ignore that. You guys can hear me though, correct? Everybody can hear me all right? It shows that it's sending my voice just fine over the stream, but my Discord is kaputs. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear me though. Yes, all right, good. Perfect. We do have some more information that came out from Mainframe. We have some changes that are coming to the crafting with a lot of our concerns. This is exactly what we're hoping to achieve here, guys. The being on their official Discord, chatting here on stream, and putting in those F8 reports definitely does pay off. And this is proof enough right here. There is a huge amount of progress that has been made with this announcement. It almost feels like they have a new PR person. I cannot say whether that's true or false. I don't know, but it sure as hell feels like it. Before we get into that, though, we already have another episode of PaxCast that is out already. It's episode 1 of season 2. We did start a new season with this new Proving Grounds update. I left the timer in the bottom right corner because it shows how much time has passed since the launch of Proving Grounds. I thought it was kind of funny, and I thought it was kind of cool to actually see how many hours we are past the Proving Grounds update. The timer's not really needed. I just think it's kind of funny because that's how many hours we have been in this update for. It's just a little thing. It's not like it's really in the way, but I thought it was kind of funny. First of all, huge shout out to all my channel members. Guys, this would not be possible without you. I am independent for a reason. I cannot be bought and paid for. I am here to represent you guys and the community and our clan and anybody who wants real information and wants to have real discussion about problems, good things, bad things, whatever it may be, in an open platform where we can have a good time and enjoy each other's company. If you guys would like to support that, please consider clicking that join button down below. You'll become a channel member. You get a lot of perks that go along with it. You get the fancy star next to your name. You get the green name. You get priority messages read. You get all kinds of perks. And if you link your Discord to your YouTube, you will get perks over on the Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server as well. That being said, every subscription counts, guys. We are flying towards 1,000 subscribers. We're past 900. I'm starting to get a little nervous because when we reach 1,000, we're going to be doing a 24-hour subathon where several hours will be put on the clock, and that clock is going to be extended further and further into the future, closer and closer to the 24-hour mark by doing things like becoming a channel member, interacting with Tangia, which you can see is paused in the bottom corner, and a lot of different things that will extend the clock, adding more time on top, making me stream longer and longer. It's going to be a lot of fun to see if I can make it. It's going to be a lot of fun to see if I can make it. Chef says, Woot, 96 subs to go. We're getting there. We definitely are getting there. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be an interesting ride once we do get there. But guys, if you'd like to help us reach that goal, please consider subscribing down below. And with that subscription, you can now partake in a giveaway we do. So far, we've given away 2 copies already of PAX Day. We're giving away a 3rd this month. All you have to do to enter into our giveaways is be a subscriber of the channel and leave comments on any upload. If you go back to all the uploads throughout this entire month, from the first to the end, if you leave comments on them, you will get an entry for the giveaway for each comment you leave. You can only get 1 entry per upload. So if you leave multiple comments on the same video, it doesn't get you any more entries. But if you leave at least one comment on every unique video that I upload or stream that I do, you will get an entry. At the end of the month, I have a program that I pull up on stream. We do it live, and we pull a winner. It pulls a random subscriber and their comment. So the more comments you've left, the more entries you have, the better chance you have. Tell your friends about it. Tell your family members. Win it for yourself. Give it to a friend or family member. Whatever you want to do with it, that is your choice. You can give it to whoever you like. We just do a little verification process, and then you're off to the races. You get a free copy of PAX Day. So congrats to everybody who has already won a copy of PAX Day. We have a ton of people in chat. Shout out to everybody who's in here. We got Deadbird, God Silent Grace. We got Maven, Ryan, Chef. We got Mihai says, what changes? We're going to talk about these changes, Mihai. There's quite a bit, actually, and it sets the tone going forward, what we can expect. We got Kai Lupus, Voodoo, Ange, ton of people in here. Really great to see you. Templar, Stefan, really happy to see you guys. I hope everyone's having a great day so far today. I pulled my back yesterday stretching and it still hurts. So it kind of hurts to breathe. So if I sound a little different, that's why. I'm doing my best here though, guys. I wanted to bring you this news. As soon as I know something, I like to bring it to you guys so we can have a discussion about it and have some fun talking about it and theory crafting, really, because that's one of my favorite things to do is the theory craft. But my favorite thing to do, my absolute favorite thing to do is to read your guys' chat. So if you're new here, please don't be shy. Tune in chat. Let me know your questions, concerns, comments, all that good stuff. Take part in the conversation because that's what this is all about. It's the reason why I do these live. I could very easily just make videos reading patch notes and telling you guys, this is what's going to come. This is what I think, and having no dialogue back and forth. But it's my favorite thing to do is to have that back and forth with you guys. As long as it's in good faith and you're acting in good faith with your questions, your comments, your concerns, your criticisms, this is the place for that. Everyone's chatting about brisket. Let's see, is there any other chats in here? Maven says, mainframe enacted 2 very unique F8 reports I had put in. I think they really do read those F8 reports, and I think that they may be tuning into these and taking some notes. I'm not too sure. Kai Lupus, welcome to the Junior Sleuths. Thank you for becoming a channel member. Thank you so much for that, guys. YouTube has some new features that they're implementing that are streamer oriented. One of them is we can now have sub goals and goals like that during our stream. So I have super chat goal of 5 that I start almost at the beginning of every single stream. Hopefully soon we get like raids and stuff like that so we can collaborate and work with other streamers to help grow our communities and strengthen the community over here on YouTube. YouTube needs a lot of love when it comes to streaming, but I do like it as a platform compared to Twitch. I am only on YouTube, so this is the place to subscribe and become a channel member. Kai Lupus, thank you so much for the support. It's because of viewers like you that these are possible, and it allows me to stay independent. I will never go on anyone's payroll. I will never compromise my integrity of telling you guys the truth for $1, and that's why I'm independent here. So thank you for that support. I really appreciate it. Arn says, so how long will PvP work? Is it only in one zone? Or how will the PvP work? Is it only one zone? Yes, it's only in one zone currently. They have talked about the future of PvP and how it will be expanded into other areas of the game, but they said it will remain opt-in. We've had conversations before on what that means exactly. I don't think, and a lot of people don't think it's opt-in as in you toggle something. We think it's opt-in by your actions. In the Wildlands, we think we'll be getting PvP to some extent. I think maybe a war and alliance system. We're going to have the knights and the soldiers along with the church and the baronies that you'll be able to build in the Wildlands, and that will take it outside of Lioness. I think Lioness right now is just the testing zone for PvP to see how it works in an isolated, controlled environment, so to speak. But we do think that it will be coming to the greater area. Well, I'm almost positive it's going to be coming to the greater area. If you have any other specific questions, Arn, please do not hesitate to ask. On screen right now, guys, you can see the roadmap. We're going to be getting into this in just 1 minute. We went over the roadmap before, but I want you guys, for who missed it, to be able to see it. So check over that roadmap right there while we finish our intro, and then we're going to get into the real meat and potatoes of this. Last and not least, you guys know about the giveaway now. You know about the channel memberships and all that good stuff. You know about our subscriber goal and what we're going to do when we reach it. If you would like to partake in an awesome community, please consider joining the Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server. It's a great place to hang out and play all kinds of games. We are a community first and foremost. We do not just play PAX Day. We play all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of exciting games like Star Citizen with its trailblazing forward. There's World of Warcraft with its mainstay gameplay loops and stuff. There's a lot that we enjoy doing. We play all kinds of games together. We're going to host servers for Project Zomboid and other games like that, Vintage Story, V-Rising. If you'd like to hang out in an awesome place and play all kinds of games with fun people, please consider joining the Cheeky Buggers United community Discord server. You can type !Discord in chat now, and you'll get a link over to join that Discord server. It's a fun place to just hang out. If you want to take your membership to the next level, you can go over to our website, which is www.cheekybugger.net, and you can submit an application to become a verified CBU member. When you become a verified CBU member, you now have unfettered access to join whatever clan, guild, server, anything that we host or that we're a part of. You can join that through that application. You can join our World of Warcraft guild. You can come play Star Citizen with us. You can do anything that the community has to offer. You get instant access to all of our free private servers. These are available to you because of my channel members, because of the donations and the kindness from my channel members supporting this channel and the community. We are able to bring free private servers to people for different games. So if that sounds like fun, please consider joining all the things, and you can join us in PAX Day and the Order of the Blood Brothers and have fun with us on there as well, because we do all kinds of fun stuff together. We do dungeons, we do role play, we come up with awesome stories. It's a lot of fun, guys. So if that sounds like a place that you want to hang out, please consider joining all of those. Without further ado, let me not forget to unpause Tangia. And if you guys would like to interact with Tangia, type !Tangia. That does directly support the channel as well. So thank you to everybody who's been pushing out those Tangias. They're fun little ways to put memes on screen. Kai Lupus says, the new cap got me. I have a part clay house and can't build them now. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about here. There's a lot of changes coming to carpentry and stuff. But yes, it's not that hard to get your carpentry up right now. It's kind of straightforward. And it takes like maybe a half hour or something like that. Yep, Ange, there you go. That's that Tangia link. Again, sorry about my light not lighting up in the top right corner. My Discord is absolutely fucked right now. I'm trying to get it fixed. I'm working on that. But let's go ahead and hide this. And let's pull up the post. Here we are, guys. This is the post. You saw the patch note, or you saw the roadmap there. We talked about the roadmap in the last episode of PaxCast. If you guys would like to see a full breakdown of that, go listen to the earlier episode of PaxCast. Also, little plug for my Veiled Mythos podcast, which is talking about the lore of our clan and the lore of the game, the natural lore of the world. I have another really, really great episode in the works. It's hard to do 30 Days of PAX Day because that's what we're doing right now. 30 Days of PAX Day, we're playing all kinds of PAX Day right now. It's hard for me to edit videos while doing that as well. So please bear with me as I kind of work through that a little bit. But I have a very cool episode in the works for you guys. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed. They talk here, crafting concerns statement. So they know that we're having some issues with the crafting, guys. They definitely know it. And your voices have been heard. Your F8 reports and all that stuff have not gone unnoticed. We're at 550 out of 1,000 for level 4 Tangia Party. Ryan says, Kai, you may need, depending on the current level, grapes and limestone to get over the line of 33 and 34. Once you get to 35, is pretty much when you get all the newest stuff. Yeah, you get 35 is when you want to get the newest beams. It's not that bad. Just get some grapes and water, make those grapevines until they become trivial, and then switch over to limestone and just pump limestone, pump it, pump it. It used to get like 2,000 per craft. Now it's like 500 or 600. So they nerfed it a little bit. But I think a lot of changes are going live right now because of this statement that they've made right here. This statement, I don't know about you guys, but this statement kind of feels like they have a PR person now. Everything else that they've put out until now kind of felt like it was just knee-jerk reaction. Like they really didn't have a public relations person. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. I know a lot of people do, but that's just my opinion. They've been very spotty. Their communication has been terrible. This kind of sets the tone going forward, guys. Kailupa says, need to find them. We have maps and stuff that are pinned that some people have already found a lot of that stuff. Kailupa's check in, I think it's Oathsworn, and you can find out where good locations are for those. Arn says, so will there be something like King for a zone? As I saw, there's a different named zones on the map, like someone elected for the people on that zone. I didn't know if you understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. No, there's not, as far as we know, there's not really going to be anything like that. Our clan is huge, and we control pretty much all of Tremon, but you only control your plots. The baronies and the church system may change that a little bit. I don't see them going to an area where, or going to a type of play style where you're actually electing people to run whole zones and stuff like that. Right now, the zones are based on how many plots you can place in them. We have almost 200 members now, around 200 members in the Order of the Blood Brothers. So we kind of run in the entirety of Tremon for the most part. And some surrounding areas, like we have very big influence. That does determine a lot of things within gameplay and roleplay, at least. We play on a roleplay server. I don't know if that really answers your question, but in terms of like a king for a zone or anything like that, no, that's not really a thing. You can run your own clan and you can try to gain power and gain followers and stuff like that and play Game of Thrones, so to speak, once we get the war system, the alliance and rivalries system that we are supposed to be getting. Well, at least I think we're going to be getting with, a lot of the baronies and the knights and the soldier roles and stuff like that. If you have any other specific questions, Arn, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer all of those. Ryan says, are you based in Tremon, Kailupus? Yeah, the Oathsworn pinned messages where you can find some of that, Kai. Arn says, yeah, but like that you may, for the countries that will be interested to see, I think. I'm not sure what you mean there. You mean like traveling to visit other areas and then they have like kingdoms? Oh, form. Oh, you're talking about forming countries and stuff. I think I understand what you're saying now. You kind of already do that because Tremon on the US North America, I guess it's the North America server now, the North America Nix RP. We're in Carrie's Tremin. In there, we essentially are the country, I guess you'd call it. We're the big clan, but there's clans. There's not really countries and stuff like that. It's not like your kingdom rules over a whole zone. That would be very interesting. But in terms of it right now, it's more so clans and you stake out property by putting down plots. And I can show you on gameplay streams and stuff, and you can check out our previous streams and I show you the map and things like that. That might help clarify it a little bit. But if you have any other specific questions, don't hesitate. I'm happy to ask them. I'm happy to answer them for you as well. Maven says we have some extra limestone amongst everyone as well too, Kai. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of limestone. Let's dig into this update that they've put out here, this statement. So they say, statement on recent changes made on crafting, building, and resource gathering. Hello, Paxians. We want to acknowledge the frustration some of you have felt with the recent changes, especially around crafting, gathering, and building. We understand that these adjustments have significantly impacted your gameplay, and we appreciate your feedback and patience as we make improvements. Our team is committed to enhancing these experiences in both challenging and rewarding ways, while respecting the valuable time that you, our dedicated players, invest into PAX Day. This right here sets a tone that I have yet to see and feel from Mainframe's public relations. They're actually acknowledging the fact of our feedback. They're directly talking about our feedback. They've said that they like feedback and stuff before, but here, everything that we're about to read is of a direct correlation to our feedback. Every single thing is a direct feedback to it. God Silent Grace says, I really liked what I read from them. We're about to go over it together, so let us know what parts, Silent, you like. Let us know what parts you don't like, whatever it may be, guys. Let me know in chat. As we make these adjustments to the upcoming week, in the upcoming weeks, we also want to provide a clear rationale behind our original changes and what we hope to achieve with them. This again is groundbreaking for Mainframe. I cannot understate how big this is. They literally want to give us clear rationale behind what their changes are now. Before it was just random stuff off the cuff, here's this and that. They said they liked feedback and stuff, but now they're literally saying they're going to be giving us rationale behind what these changes are supposed to convey for us, the players, the testers, because really, we are the ones who are shaping the future of PAX Day. We are the Paxians. We are the original founders who are helping to shape this game by testing it. Ultimately, that's what we're doing at the end of the day. We are finding out problems with the game. We are helping to iron out this game, so that way when it does come out to the greater people, we can truly enjoy it and be proud of what we have helped to create. Ange says, I love the tone already. It's not like before. Absolutely. And that's why I named this stream like, do they have a new PR person? Because this really, as soon as I read this statement and I read this opening, I didn't read through all of this yet, but I skimmed a little bit of it to know what I'm talking about. But as soon as I read this opening statement, it really gave a different feel than we've gotten before from Mainframe. So Mainframe, if this is true, I really hope that you guys continue with this vibe. This feels really good. It's setting the tone going forward of a much more open and communication-driven development team. And that is what we've wanted from the beginning. It's what I've said from the very, very beginning. So they go on to say here, in verse 1 of Proving Grounds. Proving Grounds is the new patch. It's the new big patch cycle. And verse 1 is like their first iteration of it. They're going to have verse 2 and probably even more verse updates that as we go. Verse 1 is the fall updates. So anything that comes during the fall is verse 1. Anything that comes during winter, they're calling it verse 2. Again, that's on the roadmap. If you guys check the roadmap, you'll see all the stuff that we went over before. They say, in verse 1 of Proving Grounds, we introduced an XP bonus system to reflect each recipe's level and complexity better, allowing players to earn more XP from crafting complex recipes. I like to break stuff down as we go through it, guys. So if I pause and I break something down that may or may not be explained further down in the paragraph, it's because I like to unpack things as I go. I find it to be easier to digest than just reading something and trying to break it all down at once. So I like to break down things as we go through them. They're saying here that they've already introduced an XP bonus system that reflects recipe level complexity better. I've not really felt that. I have not felt that at all. Maybe it's reflecting on the complexity and not the difficulty or the grind and the time consume, like how much time sink it is. That I might believe, and that's kind of what they're saying right here, is that it reflects the recipe's level and complexity, but not the, it's not always the most complex things that are the most frustrating to work through. Sometimes it's like, hey, I need 7 million limestone, or I need 10 million sand to make 10 potions. It takes 1 million sand per potion. Sometimes that is not complex. It's just an arduous task, and people don't want to have to go through that. It's not fair. It doesn't respect your time. There's a lot of stuff down below that's touching on this, though. So they say they're trying to reward players more for creating more complex recipes, which I can respect, but they also need to respect our time as well. Ryan says, yeah, I thought the tone was really good in this message. I agree too, from what I've read so far. We'll break it down as we go through it. We'll give our final thoughts at the end as we go over all of it. This bonus is carefully determined by the recipe's difficulty, the number and difficulty of ingredients required. See, so they're going based on the difficulty of the ingredients, so presumably how rare they are, as well as the number of ingredients. But it's not taking into account, at least yet, I don't think, how many of an ingredient you actually need. It says the number and difficulty, but if it takes forever to acquire something, but you only need a little bit of it in order to make a recipe, it's still going to take you a shit-ass long time to produce that, such as charcoal and sand to make the glass, to make the potions. That's our biggest gripe so far. Like sand, charcoal, that's the economy. The potions are really, really hard to make right now, at least before this statement. I don't know if any of this has been implemented yet, but they did talk about this down below. The number and difficulty of ingredients is required to gather them. So they're talking about how hard it is to gather these ingredients. Our goal was to reward players for taking on more complex crafting tasks, providing greater XP compared to similar recipes at the same difficulty level. So if something was level 30 and level 30, one that required more ingredients or more rare ingredients, they would yield experience accordingly, which I think they should, but they also need to consider the time sink that goes into getting those materials. This bonus implied that all XP curves needed to be adjusted as well. We admit that the changes might have been too dramatic, and we're working on rebalancing it so that the bonus feels like a net positive compared to verse 1, in particular thanks to your feedback. And again, here, coming back to our feedback, guys. Let's catch up on a little bit of chat here. Let's see. Ryan says it's interesting because Osric has been really responsive and attentive in the PvP PvE threads on Discord, so maybe they are learning from their newer devs. Maybe they are. There can always be a lot to be learned by new blood coming into a development team. So maybe you're right there. Who knows? Robert says Fadril here. Hello at Inner Sleuths and fellow blood brothers. I'm quite favorable with these changes, and even more so with Mainframe actually getting us a working detailed list. Yes. And that's what I was just praising at the beginning of this. I think it's a great move for Mainframe. I think they're moving in the right direction with their PR team. I think that if they can keep this up, and this isn't just a one-off, because I'm not just going to say, oh, they're the best now, they have the best communication, all this stuff. Their track record has proven that they're terrible at public relations and terrible at communicating with us. This is a step in the right direction, though, so I'm going to praise this post and hope it continues. That's fair, I think. I'm very fair in everything that I do. I will always tell you guys the truth and how I really feel on something. Obviously, every single individual is biased to some degree on something, but I'm not biased for or against Mainframe. I have my own views, though, if that makes sense. So if they can continue this, I think it'll be a great positive improvement for Mainframe's development team. Let's go down here and see some of our concerns. Key player concerns. Based on the feedback we've received, we've identified several significant points of concern that we're actively reviewing. So these are all of the different points that they're working on that they know are an issue for us. And let me know which one of these resonates the most with you guys in chat. Let me know in chat what has been your biggest frustration. I know that a lot of people did not like getting their building half built and then losing access to a lot of the crafting materials. That aside, I know that's a huge frustration, but aside from that, what crafting and other bottlenecks and resource gathering issues have you had that has been the biggest concern for you? Again, ignore for now the whole, hey, I built half my house and now I can't completing it, because that's a problem in and of itself. Let's get into some of these key concerns that they have noted here. Crafting complexity and documentation. Now, Documentation. Just hearing that word reminds me of this. The journal, I think, should tell you it should be like, it should have hyperlinks almost where you can click on something. They kind of do it already and it takes you over to how to make it, but it doesn't really show you exactly what it makes, if that makes sense. You can go to ingredients and you can't really see what those make though. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the journal expanded upon a little bit there. Let me know what you guys think about that as well. So they say crafting complexity and documentation. Many of you feel that recent updates to crafting and building have added unnecessary complexity, partially due to incomplete patch notes. I mean, I don't really think it has anything to do with the patch notes. We all experienced it firsthand. The unnecessary complexity of, hey, I can't build my house anymore. I don't think that building your house should be as complex as it is. I do think that master carpenters should have something to show for it, but it's so easy to level your carpentry right now. It was kind of weird. You just took away people's ability to build their house until they did a quick grind and then they could again. I don't know. I mean, it just felt a little strange, and that's what most people are upset about. But I don't think it was due to incomplete patch notes. I think that your patch notes have been incomplete, but I don't think that was the main driving factor behind their frustration. They go on to say that we understand that clarity in these updates is essential, and we're working on improving communication in future patches. Boom. There you have it. I mean, mic drop, end of story right there. They know their communication has absolutely sucked, and they're working on fixing it going forward in future patches. I cannot praise this enough. Being able to, and I'll do this myself too. I'm not a perfect person. If I make a mistake, I'll own up to it and I'll correct it, and I will accept criticisms on things. You know what I mean? And this says a lot about them going forward. They're not just up on their high horse talking down at us and saying, well, it's our game, you're going to do what we say and fuck everybody, right? They're not doing that. They're not doing that at all. If this is true and actions speak louder than words, these are words, actions will speak louder. Sonny, how's it going? Welcome into the stream. Actions speak louder than words. So if they actually follow through on this and they improve their communication skills going forward, and this becomes a trend, it's going to be beautiful going forward. Mainframe, please, if you're listening to this, give us the info a little bit before it happens. When you give it to us a little bit before it happens, I can cover it here on PAX Day and get people hyped about what's to come. We can talk about it here on the channel. Again, I'm not a fanboy. I'm not saying like I'm only going to get you guys hyped. I'm not here to blow rainbows up your ass. I'm here to tell you the truth and have real world conversations about the things that are happening in PAX Day. But when I have the ability to talk about it before it happens, like the patch notes for this last Proving Grounds update, they came, the only reason I was able to talk about it, they came like last minute. I was only able to talk about it because there was a 6-hour delay on the release of the patch. I don't think that's good. I think you should be able to put the patch notes out at least a day before so I can do PaxCast. I'm not talking like just from a personal standpoint. It's good for everybody. It allows us to digest and talk about the changes that are coming and have dialogue about them. So I think if you can bring those patches, not just with better communication, but a little bit sooner, I think it would go a long way, Mainframe. It really, really would. It'd allow a lot of people to dive into these things and talk about and theory craft a lot of stuff that we're going to be getting in future patches. Groz, how's it going? Welcome into the stream, buddy. He says, howdy, boss. Hope you're having a great day, Groz. We're just talking about some of the communication changes that are going to be taking place going forward, hopefully, with PAX Day. They go on to say resource scarcity and skill dependencies. High-level skill players have noted that certain crafting and gathering resources, like leather and specific ores, are now more challenging to acquire. I mean, the leathers have been terrible from the beginning, but from skinning. These resources have often required extensive exploration and are gated by high-level skill requirements. This scarcity has led to slowdowns in skill progression, particularly in blacksmithing, leatherworking, and tailoring. I've talked about this with a lot of people. I'm not opposed to skills being hard to get up to high levels. If everything's too easy, it's not going to be rewarding. When something's easy to acquire, everybody can acquire it, and there's no reward behind it. When something is difficult, and I don't mean just a grind, when something is difficult through real gameplay, you know, like you have to have skill in order to produce and climb that ladder. It makes it a lot more rewarding. So I'm not all for just dumbing down all the professions to make them easier for people, but I also think that they shouldn't be gated by what zone you're in or how big your group is or things like that. The speed in which you progress based on your skill level and the amount of people you have in your clan, sure, that's the speed that you're progressing, but the difficulty of it, I don't really think that should be gated based on certain things. And I think that's what they're starting to address here. They're talking about blacksmithing and leatherworking and tailoring in specific. Leatherworking, I mean, that's just insane to get leathers. Hopefully it's changed a little bit. We'll see going forward if it actually is or not. But they've called out blacksmithing, leatherworking, and tailoring. So if you guys have been having trouble with those, hopefully they are going over the level progression systems that are in place for the resource scarcities in regards to those professions. Now, blacksmithing, I don't think there's really been scarcity of, I mean, charcoal maybe, but that's not really scarce. It's just, again, it's that time sink. We'll have to see what that means going forward. Unintuitive crafting dependencies. We recognize that certain items, example, axe heads and their handles, now require mismatched skill levels in different professions, which has been confusing and frustrating. Yeah, and I agree with that. Templar says, yeah, to level my tailoring is 3.5 million XP. I need to level, and that's only to get to 33. And again, I'm okay with the levels being hard to acquire, but if you're, I don't want it to just be dumbed down and easy, right? But that being said, if things are unintuitive or the resources are just like impossible and you're running into like very specific pitfalls in regards to getting past a certain level, that doesn't feel good when you get stuck like that. So I don't think that the pitfalls are good for the game, and I hope that they can iron out a lot of those pitfalls, such as acquiring those tier 2 hides for leatherworking and some of the ingredients for tailoring and things like that. Like I know a lot of people have been complaining about the wool, and I think that the wool has been made a little more scarce. I mean, I didn't really have a problem finding it, but then again, I'm not a tailor who has to grind thousands and thousands and millions of experience to get my tailoring up because I don't really do tailoring. Arn says, I don't see anything about mounts or carriages as they implementing economy with market stalls and gold. Will be hard to get these resources we want from other clans. I mean, mounts and carriages and stuff will come with time, I think. But yeah, we have to test the systems that we're given. I hope we get mounts and carriages soon. We've talked about that a lot on the channel. We love to do theory craft, but we just, at the end of the day, don't know when that's going to be coming. Templar says, well, I got to make like 9,000 capes to level up, and like that's insane. It is insane. It really is. But if you think about it, when the economy comes, hopefully we're able to market these things. But if a lot of people are trying to level up their tailoring, and there's tons of people making 9,000 cloaks or capes, then who's going to be there to buy any of those capes? We're going to be getting a recycle feature hopefully pretty soon. I don't know exactly when, but they did talk about it, getting a feature where we can actually recycle some of the materials from our crafts. But yeah, I don't know, Templar. I mean, crafting 9,000 capes is crazy, but I forgot how many potions I would have to craft and how much sand it was going to take to get there. It was absolutely ridiculous, the sheer number of sand that I was going to have to acquire. Ryan says, cloth pin requirement coupled with reduced drops from animals is a good example from where rebalancing of crafting really hurt a profession, tailoring, for instance. I think they talk about that down below, Ryan. We're going to get into that a little bit further as we get down more into the specifics. But I think they did address some of these things as they recognized the feedback that we gave them. Stefan, how's it going? Welcome in to the stream. I hope you're having a great day. They say, yeah, at the moment, I'm 25 leatherworking. Once I hit 29, everything I make is trivial. 5 recipes I need fine leather and I can't make. Yeah, I don't think those pitfalls are good. And that's what I mean by pitfalls. When everything becomes trivial and you have nothing else that you can make, and the things that are trivial take untold amounts of ingredients in order to get little tiny bits of experience that you have to power through, I don't like those pitfalls. I think you should always have something that will give decent amounts of experience, whether the ingredients are rare or not. I think there should always, at some point, be a recipe that's easy, medium, hard, very hard. You should have something in all of the tiers. Everything should not become trivial until you push past to a certain level. I think those pitfalls are bad for progression. Sonny says recycling, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think that recycling will be coming hopefully soon, because dropping 10,000 spears in the middle of the road because you have nothing else to do with them, that never feels good. It feels like just a waste, right? And it will give a reason to loot things more often, like axe heads and ingredients and stuff like that from dungeons, because then you can break them down, resmelt them, things like that. Reusing and recycling ingredients in game, I think, will be very important if they can get that dialed in. Gross says, I don't mind a challenge if it's fun. Right now, leveling crafting is not fun for me. And that's completely understandable. I think a lot of people don't find it fun, but I think that's what this post here is trying to address. So bear with us, Groz, as we go through this. I think there's a lot of changes in here that are going to appease a lot of people. And I think it's going to be a net positive at the end of the day. So they talk about the unintuitive crafting dependencies, not knowing where things are coming from other professions, and they know that they can be frustrating. So they have acknowledged that. We are revising these inconsistencies to create a smoother, more logical crafting process. And I think this is great. Being able to inherently and innately tell where something should come from and how you can acquire it, as opposed to just being completely lost and having to dig through the journal and then look on the wiki or something to get more information. Using external sources in a game never really feels great. Gross says, drop the 10,000 spears in Voice Place. That is fun. I mean, they despawn, so I have a spear wall outside. I have palisades outside while they're there. But it's great to hear that they're trying to make a more logical crafting process, so that way people don't get lost in the sauce, so to speak, not knowing where they need to go next. Next, they talk about the experience, the XP balance and progression. So some of you are experiencing stagnation in skills like blacksmithing and leatherworking, with current XP requirements outpacing the experience granted by available recipes. That's exactly what we're talking about right there, Stefan and everyone else, about running into the part where you only have trivial things to craft and they're giving you small amounts of experience, but they're taking untold amounts of leather or metal or some other rare ingredient that takes your hard-earned time in order to farm them. So it's great to see that hopefully going forward, we won't have those pitfalls as bad, at least for blacksmithing and leatherworking is what they called out here as their examples. They talk about the experience requirements outpacing the experience granted. I think the intended way it's supposed to work is you're supposed to get enough XP while they're on easy to gain enough levels to make it so that the things never truly become trivial before you have more recipes to replace them. That's what I think they mean by that. They go on to say, we hear your concerns about the grind becoming overwhelming, and we're exploring ways to make experience gains aligned more meaningfully with resource investment and time spent. That's all we want at the end of the day, really. We want to make sure that our time is respected in the game. Sunny says, I was leveling leatherworking and it turns out iron buckles are made in the basic blacksmithing instead of leatherworking table. This was very odd. I do think that having some crossover is good because it's supposed to be a socially driven game. If you have everything made that you need for one profession at one table, you have no intermingling of the professions. So I do want there to be intermingling between the professions, but it needs to make sense and it needs to be intuitive and there needs to be clear guidance to let you know how to track those down. It needs to tell you maybe this ingredient that you need to make this blacksmithing. Or maybe on every ingredient, they just tell you what it's. Maybe they already do that. I'm not even sure. I haven't really spent too much time in the journal, but if they do that already, that's how it should be. But you need to be able to find out where these things come from. So they're exploring ways to make experience gains align more meaningfully with your time spent. That's going to make your time in the game feel less grindy if they're respecting your time more. If you want to grind, you're going to have more to show for it. But if you don't want to grind, you're still going to be able to progress. Hopefully that's what it means at the end of the day. Skill interdependencies. Certain skill progressions like leatherworking and blacksmithing require support from other high-level skills. That's exactly what I was just talking about. You know, needing things from blacksmithing in order to continue your leatherworking. I think that is a good marriage of the skills. You need to go to a blacksmith and say, hey, I really need these high level buckles. They're very special. I need them to make these gloves or this chest piece or whatever it may be. And then I can sell those. So what's your price on that? And then they're going to determine the price based on how hard it is for them to make those. You know, if it's a small piece like a buckle, it probably won't be that much. Maybe you can agree on some barter or exchange, or once we get the gold economy, you'll be able to actually trade real economy for that, real gold or real silver or platinum, whatever it's going to be. I think it's just going to be gold at first, but you can then trade for those buckles, take those buckles and turn them into whatever leather piece you have. That's a good marriage of the skills. So you have that crossover and those interdependencies that interlock well together. But again, you need to be able to clearly identify where to get those things from and how to go about progressing. Because let's say you only want to work on leatherworking. That's it. You're buying your hides from someone. You're going to get to a point where you need to find out where you're going to get these buckles from and stuff. So they need to make sure that's clear. We value the social and cooperative aspect of PAX Day, they say, but we want to ensure that reliance on others doesn't block your solo progression entirely. That's an interesting statement. I feel like that's a contradiction, really, if you think about it. We value the social and cooperative aspect of PAX Day, but we also want you to be able to play solo. That doesn't really make sense in my head. I don't think you should be blocked, like they say. I don't think you are blocked in your progression entirely. You can do the other profession. I'm not sure what this statement means here. We value the social cooperative aspect of PAX Day, but we want to ensure that you don't get blocked from your solo progression entirely. I don't know exactly what that means. That feels like a contradictory statement. Let's catch up on a little bit of chat here. Stefan says, my issue is this could have been avoided. It's not a game mechanic that does things behind the scenes. They can see each recipe and what items it requires. Stefan goes on to say, it shouldn't have been any gaps between recipes and skill requirements. I agree 100% with that right there. Sonny says, with markets and gold economy, do you think they'll go with global price or player set prices? I think it's gonna be player set prices, 100%. I think how I think it's gonna work, and this is just my hypothesis, but I think you're gonna get a table that you can put things in. Once they're on that table, you'll be able to set a price. Let's say I put an iron buckle. I'll be able to set the price for that iron buckle to 2 pieces of gold, or 1 piece of gold, or a half piece of gold, however, whatever the currency increments are, 10 gold, 5 gold. And then you'll come along, you'll see, oh, this guy's selling buckles for 5 gold. That's a really great price. He must have a lot of supply. Let's buy a bunch of this up at this cheap price. You go to the next stall over to the next blacksmith. Maybe they want 15 for the same buckle. I think you're gonna be able to set your own price. That money will then come out of your coin purse. It'll go into the coffers of that table. And they did say it will be asynchronous, so you won't have to actually be there to facilitate the transfer of gold. So the gold will get stored most likely in the table, and then the player who sold it will be able to return to the table, collect their earnings, and see, maybe they'll have a ledger where they can see what sales took place. Bada bing, bada boom, transaction has taken place asynchronously. I think that's how it's going to work. I think you'll be able to set your own prices for these things for sure. If they have a global value, I think that would be really bad for the economy. And I have several reasons if you guys want to know why, but I think that if it's globally set prices, I think that'd be terrible. Well, wood chopping is max, Kai says. Sonny says, we want you guys to play together, but not leaving solo players behind. I mean, that makes a little more sense even the way that you just put it, but that's not the way I read it. I don't know. It just seems a little contradictory. They don't want to block solo progression behind cooperative gameplay, but it's a social cooperative game. Again, I don't know. I don't know how. There's so many different ways what this could mean. I mean, at the end of the day, I think people can play the game solo. You don't have to be part of a big clan. You don't have to be part of a group, but you're going to need to cooperate with other people. Like, for instance, dungeons. Does this mean that, like, in order to get the stuff from dungeons, they want you to be able to solo them? Because you're never going to be able to solo a dungeon unless you're cheesing it. Mez Fireball is gone, so you can't rely on that anymore. So unless you're cheating or exploiting in some other way, you're not really going to be able to get into a dungeon by yourself. So what about the stuff that's in there? That's going to be blocking your progression. You're going to need to cooperate with neighbors around you, or join a group or a guild, or have a community in order to go and do that, right? Or hire some mercenaries. Like we have our Black Bloods that you can hire to take you into dungeons. If they're not wanting to block that progression, what does that mean for the future of the game? Everybody could just play solo, and it's like World of Warcraft. You don't even need a group. You could just play the game by yourself and just queue up every now and then for things. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that statement ages. Is it going to age like a fine wine, or is it going to sour and turn into vinegar? We're going to see. Arn says, Sonny, the question is, at the market stalls, are the market stalls going to be like an auction house where we're going to need to go to the people's land? Yes, I think you're going to need to go to people's land. I don't think it's going to be an auction house, though. Auction houses would be cool, but I don't think that these market stalls are going to be auction houses in terms of that you're going to be bidding on things. I think you're just going to outright buy them. I think the person's going to set a price, and you're going to choose to either purchase it or pass and go on to the next stall and try to find it for cheaper. I think that's how they're going to work. But you are going to probably need to be at the table. I do think that having something like an auction house would be really, really good, though. And how are we going to get the gold in the first place? They have said that the gold, and again, this can all change. This is all subject to change. This is just what we know right now going forward. But the way to get the gold is going to be through PvE. Yep. Ryan says from the PvE camps, from doing things in PvE, we already have gold bars. Are we going to be able to craft those into gold? I hope. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to be able to mint our own currencies. They still have the same value. So 1 gold coin, let's say something like 1 gold bar can make 100 gold ingots. Or maybe 1 gold ingot can make 100 gold coins. Maybe we can stamp those and mark Tremon on them or mark Order of the Blood Brothers or something. You can put your symbol on. I think that'd be pretty cool because then you could say, your gold's no good here. That's from this clan that we're at war with or something, and you can reject their gold. That could get into the intricacies of the economy. I don't think it's going to start like that. That's a pipe dream. That is theorycraft. I'm going to label that as theorycraft, but I'd really like to see that. I do think that you will need to be at the person's location, and you're going to get the gold as far as we know from PvE. Deadbird, how's it going, buddy? Welcome to the stream. He says, I think a global auction house would kill immersion, in my opinion. Traveling is so much more fun. Well, I don't mean a global auction house. I think an auction house as in like you can hold an auction and then people can come and bid on stuff. I think you could do that anyways, right? You don't really need an in-game system to do that. Once we have gold economy, we can put stuff up for sale. Really, really, really rare items that we've acquired, we can put up for auction. And let's say we have the magnificent leather pauldrons. They give the plus 60 XP bonus to everybody around you in AoE. We could put that up for auction starting at 100 gold coins. Starting at 100 gold coins. Do I hear more? And then someone from another clan's like, yeah, 150. Okay, 200. And then you could just do it manually like that and have an auction. But if it was an auction house, I think that you would have to go to the location. Unless it's through some form of magic. We are going to be getting fast travel. Hopefully we're going to get mounts soon. There's a lot of stuff that could make sense in this world because there is magic in our world. We'll have to see. All that is theorycraft, though. We'll have to see how that unfolds going forward. Ryan says, if they make a gold auction house, all of a sudden, traveling merchants will no longer be an emergent gameplay option. For me, it's super important to keep markets localized. Unless it's through some form of magic. I mean, I see where you're coming from, but the only way I would see it coming in this game as a global thing would be through some form of magic. I don't really see them ever just having like, click here to put something up on the auction house. Unless there's like a special table or some fee or some physicalized travel. Maybe it actually needs to make it to the hub or something. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways they could do it, but I definitely understand your concern there, Ryan, about the traveling merchants. I do want that to be an emergent gameplay option for people. It's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds going forward. So this statement right there, that's a little contradictory in my opinion, but we'll see how it unfolds, everybody. We'll see what comes from that. Gathering limitation and resource drops, they go on to say here, gathering specific limitations such as the challenge of finding beehives. It's interesting because early on beehives were so plentiful. Now people are complaining they can't find them. I think they only drop from certain trees right now, and they're very rare. They're so common, in fact, that we used to use them to drop on people's houses that were somewhat hostile with us. It was like you were dropping a bunch of crap on their floor. It was kind of a little funny thing that we would do, and we've done it to each other and stuff too, just for fun because they were so plentiful. But now it's like people can't even find them. So they talk about finding beehives or acquiring lower level resources like rough hides as skill levels increase. Yeah, because you're going to need those lower level resources in order to have them for the market. Some newer people who are getting into leatherworking, they're going to need those rough hides. And if your skill level in skinning is so high, you're only getting the good stuff. How are you supposed to bring those to market? It's kind of like the thing in World of Warcraft where things from older expansions tend to go up in price because they're harder to get because people are only in the new expansions. So if you're trying to do something that's old, in order to acquire something, it tends to become even more expensive. So if you can't get the rough hides due to your skill level in skinning being so high that you only get good hides, the price for the rough hides would actually increase because of that. So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds as well. A lot of things here that are going to have to play out in order for us to see truly how they're going to impact the game. They go on to say that they have also been widely discussed. We're actively reviewing these mechanics to ensure that gathering maintains a balance between rewarding skill progression and granting access to fundamental resources. It's a balancing act. All of this is a balancing act. They're trying to dial it in based on our feedback, so it's a good thing that we're giving that feedback. Sonny says, save the bees. They went into hiding. Yeah, we pushed them back a little too far. Their next bullet point here is specific skill changes, and they have examples here. Leatherworking, for example, bottlenecks occur at higher levels due to reliance on blacksmithing resources and the scarcity of fine leather. The same thing happens for alchemy. I can't make the large potion bottles, the large flasks or whatever they're called, because they require a pretty decently high level blacksmithing. I could get my blacksmithing up, but I'm totally reliant on blacksmiths for now, and I think that that's okay. If I could take the glass to them, I think with the potions, they should make the bottles either reusable or recyclable. They should make them have either multiple uses, maybe based on size. We talked about these on stream before. I think that the size of glass bottles should determine the volume and not the quality. It's kind of a quantity over quality thing. The volume of the bottles, as the bottles get bigger, those should not be exclusive to stronger recipes. I think that should be volume and not quality, if that makes sense. Right now, the best potions in the game are only made with large vials, the largest ones. It seems kind of weird. Like, why, just because there's more of it, does it become better? I don't know. Maybe they're going somewhere with it, but it seems a little strange right now. I think that the vials should be like the tiny vials. You only get a little bit of the potion. If you have an extra large vial of a weaker potion, you get a lot more of it, but it's still of the weaker quality. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But they say that bottlenecks can occur at higher levels due to reliance on blacksmithing resources and scarcity of fine leather. That's definitely true. Blacksmithing, some items are currently uncraftable due to missing materials. Example is fine cotton cord. And progression stalls as players run out of accessible recipes. That's the pitfalls that we were talking about. Those things are clearly going to get fixed. Pitfalls and recipes where, hey, this doesn't exist, so thus you can't create X, Y, or Z, so now you're stuck making this other thing, which is trivial. That's going to get ironed out, and they've acknowledged it here. Carpentry. They go on to talk about carpentry. The apparent lack of crafting of certain materials like limestone has implemented the ability to progress at an expected rate. I don't think that limestone's very rare, if I'm being honest. I think limestone's fine. I don't know what they mean by the apparent lack of certain materials. Limestone is all over the place in the places it is. I mean, you could do a loop and fill your inventory with limestone. You need a lot of it because of the pitfall of carpentry, where you have to make all of those box chairs now, but you have to make a ton of planters in order to get your skill level up, which takes a lot of limestone. I don't think that there's a lack of limestone, though. I think they just need to fix the crafting pitfall, add a couple more recipes in there at that level so you don't have to only make stuff with limestone. I think that's a much better approach to it. We'll have to see what they do there, but I really don't think there's a lack of limestone, to be honest. Ryan says it's because they are clumped, so once you find them, you're fine, but until you do, it's unreachable. I mean, that goes along with the exploration, though. I don't think that everything should be everywhere all the time, always. Like, certain things should be in certain biomes, and they've started to make changes towards that with the recent changes. They have started to make things biome specific, which I think is great. Having things in certain biomes makes sense, right? You're going to have to explore in these certain areas where these things are more prevalent. The limestone is in certain areas. You just have to find it. Ask around. Use the social aspects of the game to talk to people. Find out where they are. I mean, there's even online resources like the interactive maps and stuff like that where you can find these things. But I certainly don't think that they're rare. There's a crap ton of them. Tailoring and cooking. High material requirements, especially for items like cloth pins and specific brewing ingredients, create bottlenecks for many players. There is crafting discrepancies as well for things like, and one example is the poison resistance potion and the stone skin potion. Those both take extract of Leos tier leaves and water. The only difference is, which that doesn't, in and of itself, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, how is a poison resist potion and a stone skin potion made from this one extract of this one leaf, and all you're doing is diluting it? To me, that doesn't feel like alchemy. That feels like an oversight. I think you should have to mix things together and mix the leaves before you do extracts and stuff and make it a little more immersive. What if you had to take the leaves, crush them up and grind them with garlic and an extract of something else? You had to pour that in. Now you're pouring an extract in with 2 raw ingredients, and then you extract that and mix it with some other fluid. And it may get too complicated, but I like that level of immersion. Right now, it's like, take these leaves, make an extract from them, dilute it with water, and you somehow have a poison resist potion. It doesn't even take a vial. Right now, poison resistance potion tier 3, or poison resistance potion 3 tier 4, I think it is. It only takes the leaf extracts, and it only takes water. No vial required. But to make the stone skin, it takes that same extract and water, and now you have that. It's very strange. Very, very strange. I think there's some oversights there. So I think they will get worked out as we get further into this patch. Darth, how's it going? Welcome in to the stream. A can of Mountain Dew won't keep you awake for 24 hours on stream. You need like a 3-liter bottle. I don't drink caffeine. I can't do caffeine. I don't do alcohol. There's a lot of things that I can't do due to like dietary restrictions. So I can't actually do caffeine. It's going to be interesting. I think I'm just going to sleep the whole day before and then the whole day after the stream. If we make it to 24 hours, because that's the thing. It's going to be up to you guys if we make it to the 24 hours. I'm only putting a normal stream worth of time on the clock. A couple hours we put on the clock, and that clock's going to tick down. And then that clock can be extended by becoming channel members and Tangias and all kinds of stuff. That will be what extends it. And we'll make sure that that's abundantly clear during the stream. We are going to be playing various games, though. We're not just going to play one thing. Maybe we'll hop into Star Citizen. We're going to hop around all kinds of stuff. And if we get to the 12-hour mark, we will cut it. And then we'll have the part 2, because otherwise the other 12 hours won't be kept on stream. YouTube only DVRs to up to 12 hours. Deadbird says, oh, we'll make it to the 24 hours. We'll see, man. We will see. So they talked about a lot of the bottlenecks here, guys. They know about the issues that we've been reporting. They have a fine grasp on some of the things that we are having problems with. They go on to say our commitment to change. Again, this is more of them talking about the things that are to come. Darth says a size comparison for the vials, larger one needed for the effect. I guess maybe that could be how it works. You have to drink more of it. I don't know. I think if it was a volume, like the large vials can be drank from more than once, I think that would be pretty cool. Then you could have these vials that you could drink from multiple times, especially you don't get the bottles back. So are you eating the glass bottle? Are you smashing it on the ground? Where does that glass go? Maybe you can drink from the large ones 4 times or 3 times, and then they start to wear out, and then you have to remelt them and have a glass blowing profession where you have to re-blow these bottles using the scraps that you have. There's a lot of things that they could do that would make it very, very immersive. We'll see what they're going to do going forward, though. That's just theory craft. Ryan says, look, Void, we all know you're going to make the 24 hours. You don't need to play innocent. I don't know. Hey, I'm just telling it as it is, man. That's hard to do. That's not easy. That's not easy to do, especially as we get older. That's hard to do. Vinus, how's it going? Welcome into the stream. He says, do you plan on playing Monster Hunter Wilds? I do not. I do not plan on playing any of the Monster Hunter games. I'm not a fan of their control systems. It feels like a game that was made for console, and I'm not shitting on it. If you guys like that game, I'm not shitting on it at all. It's just personally, controls are a big thing to me. Fluidity is a big thing to me. I play on a PC with a keyboard and mouse for a reason. You know, joysticks and switch panels and very tactile things with lots and lots of interfaces for a reason. I've always felt like the Monster Hunter games were kind of lackluster because they were ported from console over to PC. So their controls just felt always abysmal to me. Same with Dark Souls. I never really liked Dark Souls because of that same reason. It was made for a console and then they ported it over to PC. I think it's easier to port from PC over to console control-wise, because then it's made on a keyboard and mouse and it's much easier to implement controller support rather than the other way around. That's just my opinion. But no, to answer your question, I don't plan on playing Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm probably going to play some World of Warcraft, more World of Warcraft on retail as well as classic once they do their wipes of the servers that are coming up. It's going to be kind of interesting. I'm not a big fan of the Cataclysm and the Mist of Pandaria stuff. We can go all the way up to Lich King. That's where I consider the classic era to end, in my opinion. The first 3, that's the classics. Everything after that, not so much, in my opinion. Nico, how's it going? Welcome in. The vials are too round and difficult to properly clean. You can't reuse them. Potions will get mixed. I don't know. I mean, can I smash the bottle and reburn it then and have the glass left over and have to recycle it? There's got to be something, right? I can't just, you imagine how much waste we'd have? You know how much glass would be everywhere? You'd be walking around and just cutting your feet because people will be drinking potions everywhere. And if you don't have shoes on, like your feet are gone. Your shoes are going to be all ripped up because there'll be glass over the entire world. I don't know. We'll see what they're going to do going forward with it. Ryan says dishwasher profession confirmed. That I did hear that, guys. It is confirmed. We are going to have no, I'm just kidding. There's no dishwasher. Sonny says mainframe is leaving money on the table if they don't add fishing. They've talked about fishing, Sonny. Fishing will be a thing eventually, according to what we have heard from mainframe. Fishing will be added. Sonny says, I play Monster Hunter on PC with controller and get around that. Yeah, I don't use controller though. And that's just my personal thing. Again, if everyone has fun playing that game, nothing against them whatsoever. It's just a personal thing. I just don't like controller. I have a keyboard and mouse for a reason. Ryan says they're adding fishing. They just acknowledged it's not going to be soon. Yep. Vinus goes on to say, I don't know if you know about Dune Awakening. If you know it, do you want to play it? I have looked into it a little bit. They did an NDA on their alpha and beta testing and stuff. I'm not really keen on getting into things that have an NDA because my whole thing is I like to bring you guys info and news as soon as possible. So if something has an NDA, sure, it's cool for me to be able to see it for myself and be like, guys, there's so much that I can't tell you, but I just don't really like that because what is that information good to me if I can't share it with you guys and have conversations about what's good, bad, and different and show you guys gameplay? You know what I mean? I can't cover it on my channel until it fully comes out and the NDA is lifted. So there's no point in me doing it unless they let me have specific coverage rights to be able to talk about stuff. But even then, I don't sign NDAs and get put into a box. Oh, you can only ask these questions. You can only say these good things. You must act this certain way. I'm off the cuff, man. I just do all this stuff live. I don't have a script with this. I like to interact with you guys and do things live. So NDAs and me are a no-go. Arn says, if fishing will be added, what about boats and ships? There's a lot of water on the map. Arn, so they have talked about that they want to have boats where you can go out on boats and go fishing and stuff. That was just the devs talking in interviews. We don't actually know when or if any of that stuff will come. At this point, I label it as theorycraft. Ryan says they've also talked about wanting that in the future. And looking at the unreleased regions they called Atlantis, speculations will definitely grow. Yeah, for sure. There's going to be a lot of speculations that unfold. I love doing theorycraft with you guys. It's my favorite thing to do, but I will always label it as theorycraft. I'll never just pretend that something is fact. You know what I mean? Let's go on and read a little more here what they have to say. They say, our commitment to change. We're actively working to address these issues and make adjustments that maintain the challenge that you expect from PAX Day without overwhelming or blocking progression. That's great to hear. Our team is reevaluating crafting XP, resource distribution, and recipe dependencies to help streamline skill leveling while preserving the sense of accomplishment from overcoming complex challenges. That's perfect. I could not agree with that statement more. That's exactly how I always make my private servers. I make things difficult in most games, like our Minecraft server, Project Zomboid. I make things difficult because then when you accomplish them, not impossible, I like it to reward you along the way, be a good linear increase of difficulty that gives a sense of accomplishment at the end once you finally reach that goal. I think that it's important that it's rewarding along the way, though. It can't just be a whole, oh, you're right to the end, there's no reward. And it also just can't be, hey, this is impossible, it's way too much of a grind. Chef says, come on, Void Kim, drink the Kool-Aid. No, I refuse. I will never bend the knee. Arden says, I hope they add ships and so on at some point. I could be a pirate. Yeah, that would be amazing. Can you imagine that? Being able to be a pirate or being able to fight pirates and stuff at sea, add Valheim style ship. Dude, it's all theorycraft, but that would just chef's kiss, man. That would just be amazing to have all that stuff in this game. But yeah, I agree with their outlook on resource distribution and XP for crafting and stuff like that, streamlining the level of experience while preserving the sense of accomplishment. All that sounds really, really great. We're gonna have to see how it actually gets implemented in game though, when we get to it. Below are some fixes already in the works that we aim to deploy starting next week. So again, guys, everything coming after this now, coming next week. Well, starting next week, not all of it coming at once. Again, wording is important, and over the next month. So presumably we're going to have all of this within the next month, starting next week. So over a 3-week period, we're probably going to be getting all this stuff trickled out to us. Who knows when, what's going to come that we're about to read about, but that's their time frame that they've set here over the next month and starting next week. So 3 weeks, 1 week out from now, and then over the span of 3 weeks, we'll hopefully have all of this stuff in our hands. In addition, we'll be reviewing the XP multiplier, which is currently balanced around recipes of median complexity at each difficulty level. We'll shift this balance to center on the least complex recipes. So they're going to be shifting it down to the least complex recipes as opposed to the median currently, how it is now. With this change, the simplest leveling recipes will grant XP at the same rate as before verse 1. More complex recipes, however, will now grant even more XP relative to their difficulty than pre-verse 1. I think that's a good way of doing it. They're going to take all the experience gains back to what they were before, and they will only increase from there based on their complexity, as opposed to nerfing the XP gain from less complex things. They're only going to be increasing the XP gain from more complex recipes. It's a reward-based system as opposed to, nerfing you. I think that's a much better way of going about it. You get less complaints that way, and it feels better. No one likes having anything taken away from them, like in World of Warcraft. When things get nerfed, that always feels terrible. But if other classes get buffed to be brought up to the skill and the power of the classes that are overperforming, that always feels better, to increase the power as opposed to not knock people down. And they say that this will give players greater incentive and reward for tackling more advanced and crafting challenges. And I think that that is a good way to do it. Reward them by increasing the XP gain for choosing to tackle things that are of higher difficulty. Let's catch up on a little bit of chat here. Maven says, nice. Venus says, I think they have to lower the price of the game a little since I understand that it is a little expensive for a game that is still in early access. I think that this game will eventually be able to fetch a $60 box price. So I think that their price is not all that bad, considering it's going to be an MMO and have ongoing content. You're definitely investing into it, though, when it's early access. I think the price is okay. They run sales from time to time. We do giveaways on the channel. So I think that the price is honestly not too bad. I think the box price will probably be $60 when it comes out. You buy the box price of $60, you pay for that, and then you pay your upkeep of your plots. That'll be your subscription. And hopefully that is the premium model going forward, and they don't get into like, well, if you want the premium subscription, you have to pay extra, and if you want all this, if they monetize it too much, the game will be dead in the water, in my opinion. I hate egregious monetization models. I think that's the easiest way to kill a game, in my opinion. The absolute easiest way to kill a game, in my opinion, is to have an egregious monetization model. So I hope they don't go down that road. And it's one of the reasons why Brighter Shores, if you guys haven't heard about that game, it's a pretty cool looking game. Their monetization model is spot on as far as I can tell so far. But I don't know. I don't think the game is too much. I think when you look at other AAA games, you get a lot less for your money. But it being early access, I think we are getting a discount already. I think the box price will be $60. Ryan says, definitely going to start hoarding Nice in preparation of the great grinding. Yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet, but that is down below. Ryan says, it's literally on sale right now. It is on sale, yeah. It's like 25% off right now. Somebody says, do you think they'll add XP multiplier potions? I hope not. I sure as hell hope not, and I sure as hell hope that it's not monetized that way. Oh, increase your skill gain by 25% for $15 for the week. Dead in the water to me. If they do stuff like that, the game's dead to me, honestly. That is the most egregious way to ruin PvP, to ruin balance. It then becomes open your wallet. Who can spend the most money for their clan to grow the biggest, the fastest, to outproduce, because PvP is going to be a big part of this. Whether you guys want to engage in PvP or not is a different story, but our clan, we are going to have to engage in PvP. We're going to have to be out there with our soldiers, defending our supply chains and stuff. And if people are progressing their crafting faster just by opening their wallet and saying, here's $10, here's $20, here's X amount, all of our crafters are needing to pay X amount of money in order to progress faster, that would kill the game, in my opinion. That would absolutely feel terrible. The game, this is the way I see it. World of Warcraft feels so good because you pay $15 a month and you get access to everything, including their battle pass. It's built into your subscription. There is no premium battle pass. Sure, they sell some mounts and some cosmetics. Those are gimmicks. I don't agree that they sell them, but they don't really directly play into player power. I don't think they're that big of an issue, and they don't have that many per se. Especially like cosmetics and stuff. If you want a certain cosmetic, you go and you earn it in game. If you want a certain item, you go and earn it in game. You don't open your wallet to increase your profession gain and stuff like that. I think that is a terrible monetization model for any game that does it. And I don't like games that do that. So I really, really hope that PAX Day does not do that. I hope they stick with the box price of even up to $60. You pay your subscription fee for your plot, and then you can maybe buy some more plots and then pay more subscription for them accordingly. And then when expansions come out, if they add whole new zones with all new crazy stuff and it's a whole new expansion worthy, sell the expansion. I don't even care if you sell it for $60. I'll buy the expansions too. I like that model the most, if I'm being honest. Chef says no store ever, please. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Whenever you get a store, stuff feels bad. Ryan says, I'd prefer they offer XP multiplier events, if at all, even not make it farmable. Otherwise, the multiplier becomes the norm. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that. You know, big events that are going on that people can partake in to gain, like maybe if you control this zone during this season, it's producing more, so you have to go and fight over it or something, like draw people into conflicts and stuff like that. Fuel that risk reward of the opt-in PvP system. There's a lot that they could do there, but if they have a shop, it's not going to be good for the game, in my opinion. I mean, people are already concerned about how much the subscription is going to cost for the plots. So if they start talking about adding in a shop where you can just purchase modifiers for XP gains and stuff like that, people are going to freak, and it's going to be downhill from their mainframe. If you're hearing this, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that besides the people who just want to be a whale and open their wallet and dominate the game and have pay to win. So please don't do that. Pay to progress can be pay to win, in my opinion. Chef says, I would prefer them not making XP events, potions, etc. The game is a grind, and I like it that way because if it was easier, I would lose interest. I mean, I would agree with that too, but I think events do keep things interesting. They don't have to be XP events, but I do think that events keep things interesting. Over on Star Citizen right now, they're doing an event where there's an invasion of Stanton, and it's leading up to the 4.0 release. It's a one-time event that's going to run up until the release of 4.0, and we're going to be getting the Pyro system. Events like that keep things interesting. Sonny agrees with Chef about no store. So they say that below there are the fixes that are going to be implemented starting next week over the next month. In addition, we're reviewing the XP multiplier. Yeah, they want to keep it challenging while incentivizing people at the same time. So here is the fixes to be deployed soon. Crafting skills, furnishings placement. This was a big thing for me because like you can make something and then like not be able to place it. It was kind of weird, but the capability of placing a furnishing item will be unlocked as soon as you acquire the item and is no longer based on a skill level. So that's be great. If you have something, you can place it. Tool descriptions and usability. The iron pickaxe will now be able to mine iron nodes. Makes more sense. You're correlating iron pickaxe, iron nodes. That's the tier that it can mine up to. Bada bing, bada boom. Makes sense, right? Get that fluidity across things like this. Leatherworking adjustments, fine leather bands, fine leather strings will unlock at level 26 and are adjusted to difficulty level 33. So they're balancing some stuff there. Drop rates for these fine leather items have been increased with adjustments to ensure higher level skinning skills can yield lower level hides as needed. I wonder what that means, as needed. Can you like rip them down into lower tiers or something? Because if you get the lower level stuff and the higher level stuff, what's the determining factor there as to which one you're going for at any particular time? Because it says as needed. We'll fix the circular dependencies of crafting tools for leatherworking table. Where linen cloth was needed, instead, you'll need generic leather and an iron knife blade. Chef says non-XP events are fine. Ryan says I need to check that out. Chef goes on to say I was speaking about the type of XP modifier events. Oh yeah, I got you. I understand. Recipe retention. So from here on out, players who have previously unlocked recipes will retain them and will be able to continue crafting those items until the next wipe. No ETA on the wipe, even if the recipe requirements change. So they're going to be reverting it back. This was why I don't really know why they didn't just do a full wipe. If they would have done a full wipe, we could have retested all this stuff. There has to be a reason behind it. I think because the economy's coming, they wanted to wait off on the wipe until we got the economy, and then they'll do a full wipe maybe to make it fair and balanced throughout. But Going forward now, you're not going to lose access to a recipe just because they're tweaking and changing stuff. That will alleviate the early access and beta testers' frustration with, hey, I can no longer finish my house. That's not going to happen anymore, guys, according to what they're saying right here. Recipe retention will be a thing. So if you've got it, you'll keep it. Ryan says, I think high skinning level basic boars simply stopped dropping things, presumably because higher level hides were available from them. Maybe that may be so. I think they're going to be working on tweaking all of that though as time goes on. Mead base adjustments. Mead base ingredients, weak and cloudy variants will be moved to the fermenter fermenter 1, where they can be crafted as intended. Here we go, right here. This is huge. This is massive. New sand recipes. Gneiss and limestone can now be turned into sand using recipes at the carpentry bench. Is this already implemented? Can someone confirm if they've been in, is this already implemented or is this going to be coming starting next week? Because it says to be deployed soon, so I don't know if we have any of this yet, but Ange says, so I had rosehip recipe, can I have it back? I don't know if they're going to be retroactively be giving them back, or if they mean from here on out, you won't lose them if they change the requirements again. I would err on the side of caution and say you won't get it back, but once you acquire it again, if they increase the skill cap once again, you won't lose it again. I don't know though. Are they going to retroactively put it back to how it was? I hope so, since they already talked about another wipe up above. So we already know we're going to be getting another wipe. Probably pretty soon, guys. I would think that this is coming pretty soon. The development is picking up, and we are testers. We have to accept the fact that our buildings, we can't get too attached to them. I absolutely love my new apothecary, and you know what? I'll absolutely love the next one. We're going to have to rebuild society several times. It's going to be a process to get this game where it needs to be. Ryan says, I noticed this last night actually, because I went to make some cloudy mead base for no reason, shifty ice, and noticed that it was only available from the higher tier fermenter and not the basic one. So is it changed now is what you're saying, or not yet? Sunny says, well, make sand from like gneiss at the carpenter table. What? Yeah. You'll be able to make it from limestone and gneiss at the carpentry table. This completely and utterly makes making those potions a lot easier now. I'm okay with them like shattering the bottle on the ground or eating the glass when you fucking drink the potions now, because if you can get sand that easy, depending on what it yields, it's now no longer an issue. It's no longer an issue at all. Ryan says, that's right, Sonny, we'll be able to grind stone into sand. They go on to the next one here, basic cut recipes from campfires. I think this is a great addition. Most basic carcasses cut recipe will now be available at a campfire, making it easier to get started with fundamental cooking tasks. Roasts, woodsman's roast, spiced grilled meat chunks, and mountain roasts will now be available at the campfire as opposed to only at the spit roast. So they're bringing some things down to the basic crafting table of the campfires, which would be nice. You can actually set up a campfire, cook some food out in the wild. I mean, if you have a plot, that is. I think, certain things may hopefully be able to not be, or will be able to be placed outside of plots, but we'll see. But you can kind of pseudo go camping now. You can do this stuff at the campfire as opposed to needing the spit roast for all of it. Recipe placement fixes. An upcoming update will fix a new recipe, or will fix a few recipes placed in the wrong hearth. So some fixes coming there as well. Resources, limestone availability. Again, I don't think that this is a problem. I really think that there's plenty of limestone in the world already, but they say limestone is already present in the wetlands and pale biomes, so will increase its prevalence in those biomes. If that's the case, if they're increasing the prevalence of it in those biomes, this shit's going to be everywhere. It's already all over in those zones. You're not going to be able to walk without tripping over it. I don't know how they're going to increase that. I mean, literally the whole ground's going to just stand there and just swing at the air and get limestone. It's all over the place in those biomes. And says, I don't see the gneiss and sand in game yet, or gneiss to sand in game yet. Damn, I was really hoping that was going to be the case. Thanks for checking that, Ange. Sand availability. Sand will now drop from all mineable nodes to improve access. You will also be able to convert gneiss and limestone to sand at the carpentry workbench once you unlock the recipe. I think maybe that should be at the grinder, if I'm being honest. It should be at the grinder. You grind them into it. But Nevertheless, at least we have some place to do it. And now you're going to get it from all mineable nodes. You're going to be getting sand a lot passively just by doing other things as well, which is going to be really, really great for potion output. Potion, well, it's still going to come down to the charcoal to actually turn it into glass, but still. Potion resources. Increased spawn rates for potion-related resources by approximately 2 times to facilitate alchemy and potion crafting. That seems excessive. I went out and came back with tons of potion-related resources. They're going to double? They're going to double the production? You're not even going to need to pre-craft any of this stuff at that point. You're going to be able to just go out and take 2 steps and find all the stuff you need and come right back. That's insane. That's quite crazy. I would like to see them not do that and then just implement herbalism in some way. I don't know exactly which way that would be, but anyways, 2 times alchemy stuff. Okay. Beehive drops. So trees now have a 3% chance to drop the beehives regardless of the tree type. I think that that's going to be good for people who are trying to get into doing beekeeping, but for people who don't want to, it's going to be annoying again. Sunny says, any changes to archery? It's lacking at the moment. I don't think so, unfortunately. The combat changes that we got are going to be continued to improve upon. They already made some changes with the Proving Grounds update. When you pull your bow back now, the farther you pull it back, the more damage it does. I think that's a pretty good change. I'd like to see crit spots. I'd like to see a special for bows. I'd like to see a variety of bows with different specials. It's gonna take time, but there's not really anything too big coming for that as of yet. They go on to say wood yield from trees. So they made adjustments to increase the amount of wood you get from large trees. Yeah, it did feel like the large trees weren't really worth it because they took so much longer to harvest. You could just one-shot the small saplings and get more per hour or more per minute than taking down the big trees. So they're gonna be changing that, and they will test it for future optimal player experience. They go on to say here, increased resource drops from animals. So wool drops from boars. I know Harold was having issues with that, and several other people were talking about the wool drops from boars and bears. That's going to be increased. Bone drops from various animals. I've noticed a lot of bone drop from animals, so I don't know. Again, that goes kind of back to like 2 timesing the potion-related ingredients. I don't know if that's a good call or not. We already get a lot of bone, and people only need so much of it. But well, maybe that goes along with changes to creating the bone needles and stuff for the people who are working with cloth and stuff like that, the tailoring profession. We will see going forward. Ryan says, there was a discussion in the PvP channel where Ostrich was taking feedback on archery. Only change he seemed to be open to was more damage. That sounds very strange because archery is kind of overpowered right now in PvP. So why would you increase its damage even further? That seems a little out of touch there. Archery, being able to ping people with arrows from far away, especially if you have a lot of people, you can just absolutely decimate someone with arrows. Those things pierce really, really bad. So that seems kind of out of touch. I think the whole PvP discussion is going to be a touchy one going forward, to say the least. And the last, two last couple things here is rough hide accessibility. Players with a higher skinning level will still be able to obtain rough hides as needed. I don't know what that means, as needed. As needed makes it sound like you're in control of it. Like you actually have the option of it. So I'm not too sure what they mean by that. Ostrich is in chat. Is that so? Is this mainframe Ostrich? Or is it an imposter? Is this actual Ostrich? Ostrich, if so, welcome into the stream, buddy. Great to have you. We need to get an interview, Ostrich. We need to sit down and talk about a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of things that people have burning questions on. But yeah, I think bows are kind of overpowered right now in PvP. If you ask me my personal opinion, and from a lot of our clan members and allies who have been engaging in PvP, the fact that they're ranged in and of themselves makes them very strong. And if you just baseline increase their damage, I think they'll just dominate it. If you have 10 people on a hill and you're shooting arrows, by the time the person even gets to you, they're already dead. So if you increase the damage, that could be kind of detrimental. Dead bird interview. I don't know, man. We'll see. Ostrich, if this is the real Ostrich, I'd love to have an interview, man. I'd love to sit down and just have a casual conversation about some things. I swear I'm a fair person. I swear I am. I have criticisms. I also have praise, but I am definitely a fair person. Ryan says, I did say that I saw. Can't talk about the thing. Ryan goes on to say, can't talk about the things I didn't see. Exactly. No, I know what you're saying, Ryan. By the way, Ostrich, really appreciate your activity level in the Discord. Yes, absolutely. Ostrich has been going above and beyond. He has been one of the most active devs over there, engaging with the community and stuff. And that's why I'm hoping that this post going. Ostrich, did you make this post? Did you put this together? Because this really seems like it came from someone who wants more transparency, more communication from the PR team. It feels like it was put out by Ostrich, doesn't it? Because Ostrich has been going above and beyond and chatting with people over on the Discord, answering people's questions and stuff. It's really been great to see. Kev, welcome into the stream. Great to have you. Say hey from Skywatch. Great to see you. Hope everything's going good for you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying this new patch. We sure have been. Sunny says, interview in-game by a campfire. That'd be fun. Why not? I would do it. I'm building so for those of you who don't know, we're bringing back the spooky storytelling hour. I'm going to be putting a couple plots in the woods as deep as I can in the darkest reaches because I don't like how short night is. I want to be able to tell spooky stories throughout the whole event, right? I don't want it to become daytime for most of the time, then we have a little bit of nighttime. So I'm building with 2 plots out in the woods, a big dome where we can blot out the sun and we'll still have trees around us. We can put a campfire with some seats and have a nice area where it can be perpetual darkness to tell some spooky stories. Ostrich says, at Ryan, I love talking with the community. Hard to balance working on the next update with communication, though. Absolutely, man. I know that balance is a difficult thing. I've hosted lots of private servers for things like Minecraft and stuff in the past, and I'm sure developing a game is just on a whole other level. I know it's hard to balance stuff. Working on the next update with communication, though. I love the communication. Having open platforms like this where that's my favorite part about doing my podcast here and doing my streams is I like to have people engage in good faith in conversation and let us know the things that they don't necessarily like, the things that they feel are a little undertuned or overtuned. I like to give the community a voice and give them polls and stuff to make sure that their voices are heard. Maven says, welcome, Lord Ostrich. Ostrich says, Voidlock, that's all our great community team. They did a lot of work to read all the feedback and find all the issues players are facing. Well, it definitely feels like it took a turn for the better, Ostrich. Some of the communications in the past was a little spotty. Communication barriers, maybe. I don't know exactly what was going on, but I am really happy with a lot of the stuff, and I know the community is as well. We were praising it really early on. I don't know if you saw the beginning of the stream here, but we were praising this level of communication and this openness and the explanations behind. And again, at the end of the day, I always tell people, it's your guys' game. We're here for the ride, and people like to think it's our game, but at the end of the day, it's Mainframe's game. We're just here to give our feedback and stuff. Mainframe is free to do, obviously, whatever they want to do with it. We're just along for the ride, but having that open communication and having that transparency of, hey, this is why we did something, that goes a long way with people, in my opinion. It really, really does. So it's really great to see that, and we are praising that early on. Ryan says, Ostrich, to be sure, but really potentially underappreciated element of dev work, and love to see it get so much love and huge respect. And we love the combat updates and Improving Grounds. Yes, I cannot get enough of the combat changes from Improving Grounds. I find myself just going out, and a lot of people just going out simply to fight. I'm not even looting the things I kill anymore because I don't need any more of their little lockets. But just engaging in that combat is so much fun. In the dungeons, it can be a little bit lackluster because it turns into a mosh pit again. But it does feel like they're dialing it back to more of a 6-man group, especially with the loot changes. You're dialing it back to more of a 6-man group, which will bring a lot more dynamic combat into the dungeons as well with the pulls and stuff. But it is going in the right direction in a great way, honestly. And so is your communication. These are words on a screen, but we will see going forward if this is actually put in and implemented and stuff like that into how they're going to be communicating with us. I really, really hope it is. And I have faith that it will be. Let's catch up on some more chat here. Ange says, Ostrich, I need to ask the hard-hitting question that everyone wants the answer to. What's going to go on with the silver fir branches? It's funny because they've removed things from the game that don't have a reason to be in the game yet, and they've stated it was too early for crossbows to be a skill. We're removing it, things like that. So the fact that silver fir branches are still in the game, my thought, and this is my hypothesis, this is theorycraft. There is a dev in chat. I don't know if he can speak to this or not. I'm sure that they can't talk about everything that's going on, but my theory craft here is that those may be used to make fancy little trinkets and stuff, maybe some decorations, maybe they're used for another tier of fancy wood or something. I don't know exactly what they're going to be used for, but we shall see. But Ostrich Ange wants to know, what are the silver fir branches for? Ryan says, love them. Sunny goes on to say, I'm doing my part by reporting bugs and feedback. Hit us with the '07 salute. Sunny goes on to say, will there be dodging for future combat updates? I think that'd be pretty cool, honestly. It would have to be balanced. Obviously, like everything, there's a fine line between too much and too little, but it will be interesting to see how the combat evolves. Sunny says, wait, I've been saving those. They're useless at the moment. Yeah, they don't do anything, Sunny. As far as we know, they don't do anything. Ostrich says, at Sunny, I need to dodge that question, and he hit you with a kissy face. That's pretty sus, guys. That is pretty sus. Needs to dodge that question. Does that mean we're getting it, guys? Does that mean we're not? Time will tell. I don't know. I'd be leaning towards possibly, but I'm going to have to label that, as always. You guys know what I'm about to say. Theorycraft. We have to label that as a theorycraft. And says, tell us, Ostrich. If he can't tell us, he can't tell us. Hey, he's obligated by his duty to mainframe. Some things need to be kept secret, and I'm okay with that. But you guys can ask all the questions you want for Ostrich in the chat. We're at the end of our patch notes here anyways, so any other questions you guys have for Ostrich or myself, anything you guys want to theorycraft about, any final thoughts on the stuff that we have been given the information of through this post. The last thing here is increased early resource spawns. Early stage cooking resources will spawn more frequently, supporting smoother progression for beginner cooks. And they finish out here by saying, thank you for your patience and support as we work to improve your experience. As soon as possible, we will provide a time frame for when the changes will be live, and we'll keep you informed. We appreciate all the feedback you've shared with us, and looking forward to continuing to build an incredible world together, the mainframe team. I don't know about you guys, but this post really revitalized my hope in mainframe, the communication behind it, the explanation behind changes and stuff. They really seem to be leaning into the feedback that we're giving them now, because we're the ones on the ground first and foremost. They can only test things in isolated environments in-house. When you get it out to the vast majority of people, you really start to see where the shortcomings are, where the strengths are, and stuff like that. And that's why I love to have these conversations with you guys here. Let's catch up on some more chat in case the Templar says, oh, snap. Ryan's laughing. Sunny's putting the shocked face. Ostrich says, Ange, I'd like to know as well. Oh, maybe he doesn't know. Sunny says, you have my attention now. I'm intrigued. Ange says, Ostrich, I'm going to start saving them just for you. I shall call it the Ostrich Shrine. Harold, welcome into the stream, buddy. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome in to an episode of PaxCast. Hope you're having a great day. They go on to say, I just hope they bring the Oaks back sooner, because this content fix patch sounds like it's weeks away. Well, they said next week they're starting to implement these changes, and it'll be over the course of a month. So what I'm thinking based on that verbiage there means that next week they'll start to implement them, and then over the following 3 weeks after that, within that month, they should hopefully all be out. That's how I read it. I don't know for sure. That's just how I'm taking it there. Maybe Ostrich can shine a little bit of light on that. Ryan says, can't give enough feedback to mainframe though, for how appreciated the speed and tone of this response to the community was. Exactly, Ryan. Exactly. 100%, man. More of this, please. Super good, much needed, and goes a long way. Ryan says, at Harold, Oaks are still in game, just in the Whispering Woods biome only currently. They did say that they're going to re-implement them, that they may or may not take up the place of some of the other spawns in the world. Maybe they'll be placed where some of the other trees are, and they'll just be in that spot. Hopefully it doesn't mess with anybody's builds going forward. But again, we're going to get a wipe, guys. It's bound to happen. We were all hoping for a full wipe coming this patch, but I think they're holding out for the economy. Osric says at Herald, the team is working on it, but it's not easy. They really don't want to ruin any builds. Yes, and that's exactly what I was just saying. I mean, that makes perfect sense, guys. If they ruin people's builds, and on top of right after they had just ruined their ability to make the builds for a lot of people, that would rub a lot of people the wrong way. Ostrich, let me ask you something here as a pseudo interview. I'd like to get an actual interview with you where we could sit down and have both of us on stream and maybe have a little back and forth about some questions that some people have and interact with chat, because I love to incorporate chat and the community into these. But when they talked about not removing recipes that you already have had access to, is that going to be retroactive? Are people going to go back to being able to have access to all of their carpentry? Or does it mean from this point on, they're not going to remove any recipes due to skill changes in the future? That's what I'd really like to know, and I think a lot of people would like to know as well. Sunny says, at Ostrich, you have no idea how much you showing up and interacting with us means to us. Thank you. Yes, it does mean a lot, Ostrich. I do really appreciate you popping in here and having some open conversation with us. It definitely does go a long way. Deadbird says, Ostrich, Void is free for an interview whenever you are. You don't know my schedule, Deadbird. No, I'm definitely down for an interview whenever. But my interviews are not, I don't sign NDAs of I can only ask these questions. I have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm a very fair person. I like to be fair, but I like to ask questions that are not on just an approved list of, hey, you can only ask these things or something like that. I don't know if that's how other interviews go, but I like to ask things that people actually care about, the ones who are in the chat. Ostrich says, so I don't know the details of this, and I don't work on the crafting side of things. No worries, man. I just had to ask because I know a lot of people, that's a burning question for them. Maven says, I will check his schedule, ... Yes, he's available. Well, I stream just about every single day. I mean, I had to cut yesterday's stream short because I tweaked my back really bad. I'm going to have to rename this now to Dev Shows Up in Stream. I'm going to have to rename that to that now. Ange says, Ostrich, can I be nosy and ask what you do work on? So Ange would like to know what team it is that you're a part of, Ostrich, over at Mainframe. Ryan says Ostrich is combat. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was with combat because he was talking a lot about the different combat stuff with PvE and PvP and stuff like that. Is that right, Ostrich? You work with the combat team mostly? I'm sure there's a lot of crossover though, because you can't just work on one thing and have no communication with the other teams. They have to be intermingling on where they cross over and stuff like that. Ange says, oh, that makes sense. Maven goes on to say, Ostrich, the combat was transformed through this patch. I went from not wanting to fight to wanting to fight the forces of evil. Very solid work, yes. Since the very beginning of this combat overhaul, I have absolutely praised it top to bottom. It is really good. Does it still need more work? Absolutely. Are some of the animations a little off? Yes. Do things need tweaking and balancing a little bit more? Yes, absolutely. But it is next level, guys. Absolutely next level compared to what it was before. It feels like a whole new combat system, if you ask me. Ryan says his combat spotlight vids are really good. You should really watch it. Which combat spotlights are those? I think we covered those on the channel, did we not? There was some videos showing the different changes that were taking place. We covered those before the Proving Grounds, before we actually got our hands on it ourselves. I think we went over those videos because they released them to the public. And then we had a PaxCast episode where we went over and talked about all of that stuff with you guys. I'm going to hide this right here, and we're going to bring back up the roadmap, guys. Here's the roadmap going forward. These are the things that we know of. That mixed with this post that we just got, the future of PAX Day is looking very, very bright. Ostrich is answering Ange and says, lead combat designer. All the actual gameplay stuff and RPG, basically anything that is not about crafting or resource gathering. So there you go, Ange. There is the answer to that question. He is the one that we have to thank for the amazing combat that we currently have. Ostrich, the combat feels amazing. Down to the smallest intricacies. It feels so much better. I was worried about the directional pivoting and the lunging. I do think that you should be able to hold back your lunge, maybe by holding S, or maybe you only lunge when you're walking in that direction. I think that could, and these are just my opinion. This is all just, hey, things I've heard from people and my opinion on it. But when you're next to a ledge of a cliff and you're swinging and you misclick in one direction or the other, you can actually fall off the cliff, which I think is a little bit odd that you took that step forward. I think you should be able to hold it back by holding S, or you only step in the direction that you're holding the WASD key. I think that would go a long ways to give you a little bit more authority over your character. I think having authority over your character is one of the most important things in a game. It's why games like World of Warcraft feel so good, because you can do goofy little things where you sidestep back and forth and your character does the weird little shimmy. And I think that they're starting to get that over here in the Unreal Engine. It's starting to feel a lot more fluid. Darth says, amazing design on combat, or on the combat. Miss my Zweihander though. Yeah, we've talked about that, Darth. I think there's reasons why. I mean, and Osric maybe can correct me here, but I think there's reasons why those were removed. I think for balancing and isolation, I think maybe they want to redo the animations for them and give them their own unique feel. They don't want a lot of overlap where everything just feels same. That would be my opinion as to why they would have done it. But again, you got the lead combat design guy right here. Ange says, at Ostrich, well, you should be proud of it because we are proud of you. You killed it with this patch. Also, can I ask a favor? Can you tell the person who made these puddles that they have a lot of fans? Yeah, it was actually hilarious, Ange. Early on, when people read the patch notes and they read, well, we went over the patch notes on stream and we read all the things that we're losing, people were losing their minds. They were like just doomsaying the shit out of everything. It was crazy. They were like, oh my God, we're losing access to this and losing access to that. I'm like, guys, there's probably a reason behind it. Let's just see how it feels. I know it doesn't feel good when we take stuff away, especially things that I have maxed out combat skills in because I love one-handed axes. Like, let me be a Viking, please. But people were freaking out over all the stuff we lost, and then they were mocking the puddles. They were like, oh, but don't worry, guys, we're getting puddles. I was like, okay, puddles, sure. Maybe that's an indicator that the weather system's probably coming soon. But seeing the puddles in game, every time I walk past them now, I just laugh because they're so good. They're so good. I jump in every puddle I see pretty much. And it has become like a meme where, guys, we're getting puddles. They're so good. But yeah, I agree with you, Ange. Those puddles are huge. Ryan goes on to say that on the plus side, the lunging also prevents ledge cheesing. Wolf, that is actually true. Yeah, that is true, Ryan. I didn't think of it from that before. You're absolutely right. It absolutely does. I think that you shouldn't have to have that be a mechanic in order to stop the cheesing of things. I mean, Mez Fireball going away made me so freaking happy. I don't like exploits. I don't like cheese. I don't like cheats and things like that in games because I think it ruins the progression downstream. All the rest of the data then gets ruined because you're able to acquire things easier. You're able to do things that you normally wouldn't be able to. I think, Ryan, though, that there are other ways that can be fixed. World of Warcraft has animals that can't hit you evade, so things won't just stand there and take it. They have things that'll evade. It can also be fixed by stopping you from being able to get on invisible ledges on walls and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that could be fixed. I don't think being forced to take a step forward is the solution to that. I think we should be able to hold back our steps, I think, a little bit, but that's just my opinion. Ostrich says the combat still has a lot of issues and we'll be working on improving it. The Zweihander will be coming back eventually. We want leather and cloth to be used next. We want leather and cloth to be used next. I think that means, guys, that we're going to be getting something that we've wanted for a very long time. We've talked about a lot here on the channel, having the different sets, so to speak, like cloth, leather, chainmail, plate, having their place in the world. I don't know if that's what Ostrich's alluding to here, but maybe this means that we're going to see leather and cloth have some bonuses that we normally do not see in the game. Now that some spells are more powerful on cloth and leather and chainmail and things like that compared to their plate counterpart, so there is that, but maybe we're going to see plate slow you down. Maybe we're going to see leather give you an increase. Maybe we're going to see cloth be better against something else, or maybe it's going to allow you to regen stamina faster. I don't know, but having sets of armor that have different bonuses is really going to give people a reason to want to, like Ostrich is saying, wear that leather. I don't know. That's all theory craft. I don't know what's actually going to be coming, but maybe Ostrich can shed a little more light on that here during this stream for everybody. I don't know. Darth says, I heard why in their interview, fully understand why it's gone, but want to get it back soonish. Yeah, I didn't actually have a chance to go over that interview, so I don't know everything that's in it. I did hear some talking points that were in it, though. Ange says, Void, Every time I see a puddle, I'm jumping in them. I do the same thing. And have you seen the snow yet? I've not seen the snow yet. I need to make my way up there to be able to check it out. Ostrich is replying to Ange and says, "Oh, I love them too." Yeah, the puddles are great. Maven says the snow sounds are great. I love all of the sounds. The sound developers, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Sound is one of those things that it can be overlooked very easily. If you have bad sound, it can ruin your experience and you won't know why it's a bad experience. If you have good sound, you don't necessarily point out the good sound as being the reason why you're having a good experience, but you need it there. It's one of those unthanked jobs, but I really appreciate all of the work that went into the ambiance of the different zones. I think that when you cross into a certain zone, there could be a little more of a transitional period, a little more subtlety. I think the biomes need to blend a little bit better because right now it's like a clean cut line of where this biome begins and the other one ends. A little more blending and a little more fade in the audio and stuff. But the audio ambiance is absolutely amazing. But I do need to get up to the snow zone and check that out. Maven goes on to say, for my Christmas wish, I want to be able to have snowball fights with my friends. That'd be really awesome. Ange agrees. She says yes. Or have it actually snow in game. Weather is on the roadmap, guys. Weather will be a thing, hopefully very soon. But weather is coming. We know that weather is coming. I hope that we get immersive rolling storms where it's not just, okay, it's raining over the whole map or it's snowing. I hope you get those storms that can come rolling through certain areas like they have in Valheim and some other games. That would really go a long way for immersion. Please, for the love of God, give us longer nights. Give us longer nights. We need to be able to role play at night during a snowstorm, around a campfire. Oh man, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be so good. We'd have to throw weapon animations, or we'd need throw weapon animations for that to work. It looks towards Osric. Darth says snowballs and shurikens. And says Void, go see the snow. I need to go see the snow. I definitely do. I've just been so damn busy. Deadbird says best PaxCast yet. Don't let it end, chap. Keep the questions going. That's what's keeping this alive right now, guys. We've gone through all the stuff that this announcement was supposed to be about. I'm going to have to add on the end of this video plus pseudo dev interview or plus dev interview question mark. I would love Ostrich. I don't know if that's a thing. Ostrich, maybe you can answer this if you're still here. I don't know if that's a thing I need to like apply for. I've given up trying to become part of your guys' content creator program for various different reasons. But if me and you can sit down and just have a conversation about some stuff, I would love to have you on the podcast here. I honestly would. I can collect questions that people have about some big topics that are maybe, more up your alley, combat related, because it seems like that's the stuff that you're really in touch with, obviously, being the lead designer on it. And I'd love to sit down and have a back and forth and open conversation, a real conversation with criticisms and praise mixed together, because I think that is a great place when the community can come together like this and have these conversations. Ryan says the background audio updates were a delight in Proving Grounds. I agree 100%. 100% I agree that the ambiance is just next level now. Darth says the ambient sounds are great everywhere. Maven says I love the owl and crow noises, by the way. Thank you for those. Longer nights would be amazing. Maven goes on to say sitting in chairs on the roadmap, question mark. A lot of people are very upset that they can't sit in chairs. They really are upset that they can't sit in chairs. You can kind of pseudo sit in chairs right now. Ryan says it's got to be bedtime for Ostrich by now if he hasn't already gone by now. Man has work to do. Yeah, he definitely does. Ostrich back in chat says reviews are great, but we usually want to have something new to show in them. I don't really mean like a review, just conversation about maybe we can get more insight as to what led you down the path of the combat changes and stuff, what your vision for it is, getting that insight into what you're ultimately wanting the combat to feel like at the end, things like that, I understand totally wanting something new to show. Red says news as in eventual new enemies, werewolves perhaps. I don't, come on, we're not going down that, are we? There's no way. Red knows what happened there. I'm not saying it. Red knows what happened there. But yeah, they do have new enemies on their roadmap, guys. Sunny says, can we tone down the fly noises? Yeah, the fly noises are a little intense, but if that means we get other noises that are beautiful and amazing in the world, I'm not too opposed to it. But it would be kind of cool to know what new enemies would be coming out. Osric, I think that this post is one of the first posts that really has true transparency to it. And you could take that as it is. I'm not here to bash anybody or give unfair criticisms, but I think people really enjoy this open insight as to why certain things happened the way that they happened within Mainframe and within their beloved game of PAX Day. Having that open dialogue, I think, is really important for people. And that's what I try to do here on the channel. It's why I do these live, so that way we can have live interactions of people's burning questions brought to my attention, and I can give as much insight and theory craft as I possibly can. So I think that an interview with you could help to put a lot of those things to ease, and it could be a very good show of good faith to the community. But it's up to you. Send me a message on Discord. I'd be more than happy to talk with you about it and see if there's something that we can set up to continue the vibe that this post put out in the community. Because I think this really honestly, and I mean this truthfully, I think this post revitalized a lot of people's faith. And you showing up here revitalized a lot of people's faith in Mainframe as a development team and their communication skills. Because people, I've seen it. It's not just me. I've seen it from countless people talking about how the PR has just been so bad. But this really revitalized. If we can continue this and have that open dialogue about why certain things are the way they are, that sets people at ease. So that's my 2 cents on that. Osric says, what is your Discord handle? I'll send it to publishing and arrange all of that stuff. My Discord handle is void_lock, I think. Let me take a look. Let me pull it up here. My Discord's malfunctioning currently, so I have to go to the official page here and see on their website, because my launcher won't actually function for some reason. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up here. We also have a community, obviously, where you can come over there. I don't expect you to, being a developer, but we have a community Discord server dedicated to all kinds of stuff, not just PAX Day, but I'm over there as well. Let me get logged into Discord here. And I will tell you exactly what it is. Ange says it's void_lock. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Okay, so it is void_lock. It was voidlock #1337. But now it is, yep, it's void_lock. I just logged on over on the browser there. I gotta reinstall Discord on my computer. I don't know what's going on with it. But I'd greatly appreciate that, Osric. So he says he'll send it over to publishing and they can arrange all that stuff. Yeah, that'd be really great. Red says, I'm just saying, new combat system, new enemies to test, and new combat systems on, if not werewolves, what about French vampires? I believe Mainframe can rock that easily. Maven says werewolves. Deadbird goes, not the werewolves, ... Oh my gosh. You guys are ridiculous. Yeah, it is void_lock. That's my official handle. It's not lock_void, Red. It is void_lock. That's my official handle. Yeah, feel free to send me a message or send it to wherever you got to, but I'd love to make that happen. Ostrich says, all right, gotcha. I really like your stream, so keep them going. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep these going, because I gotta make sure there's a voice for everybody. Getting tired past midnight here. Ostrich, you have a good night, man. I really do appreciate you stopping by the stream. And I know for a fact, everybody here, you just made their night. Everybody here really appreciates you. So keep up the great work. Keep being an advocate for the community. I've seen a lot of posts from you over on the Discord. I try not to engage too much over on the Discord and public forums and stuff like that, because I do these, but I'll be chatting over there with everybody a lot more. I really do appreciate you though, man. Have a good night, and we will see you hopefully in the next one. Everybody in chat, what do you guys think about that, huh? We had Ostrich here in the chat. It was really great to hear from a Mainframe dev. And hopefully we'll be able to get an interview in the future, and we can just sit down and have a little chat with Ostrich. We talk about all things combat. So get your burning combat questions ready. Write them down. Send them to me over on Discord. You guys can all DM me. I'm here for you guys, keeping this an open platform so we can keep the communication rolling. And says, at Ostrich, I know I personally would love to see an interview with you and Voidlock. Templar says, thanks for stepping in. And says, good night, Ostrich. Thanks for hanging out. Maven says, thank you so much for hanging out, Ostrich. Ryan says, much love for Ostrich in the chat. Megan waves. Ostrich says, good night, guys. Sunny says, thanks, Ostrich. Darth says, good night. Red says, midnight is usually when the height of full moons. Coincidence. If we get werewolves, what am I going to do if we get werewolves, guys? What am I going to do? We've been making fun of it for so long. What am I going to do? My chat just disconnected. Hopefully it reconnects here soon. Maven says more of that from mainframe and then nods. Absolutely, guys. Definitely need more communication like this from mainframe. That was really great. Guys, get all of your burning combat questions together. Seriously. Gross says, great PaxCast, boss. I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. And thank you for being a channel member. To everybody who is channel members, thank you guys for all the support. It really does mean a lot to me. I try to be a non-biased news source for you guys. I like to bring you guys role play videos. I have the several different podcasts that cover different things. I run an awesome community for everybody to join in and have fun. I like to make a fun gaming experience for everybody. We do our best to keep out trolls and make this a fun place for everybody. So make sure you guys are joining our Discord, applying on our website if you want to become a verified CBU member or join the Order of the Blood Brothers. And huge shout out to everybody who's been supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. It's been great to watch the channel grow. Let me refresh really quick. Let's see our sub goal. We are at 905. We are getting close to our 1,000 subscriber goals, guys. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a 24-hour subathon where we're going to be playing games like PAX Day. We're going to be having chats with you guys, playing all kinds of other games over a 24-hour period if we can make it that far. Several hours will be put on the clock, and that clock can be extended further and further into the future, closer and closer to that elusive 24-hour mark. By doing things like interacting with Tangia, which we're at 550 out of 1,000 towards level 4 Tangia party right now, gifting memberships, becoming a member yourself, all kinds of great things can progress that clock forward. It's going to be fun. I don't know if I can do 24 hours, but we're going to do our best to see if we can make it there. We're doing a giveaway this month. I'm giving away a copy of PAX Day. These copies come out of my own pocket. These are not sponsored by Mainframe or anything like that. It's just my way of giving back to the community and trying to get the game into people's hands who may not be able to afford it. If you win it, you can give it to a friend who's thinking about getting into PAX Day. Maybe they're on the fence about it. I don't try to sell anybody on the game. You know, I don't try to convince you, hey, buy this game, or anything like that. I just show you all about the game. I let you ask questions. I answer your questions. I show you anything you want to see in game, and I try to answer all of your questions to let the game speak. I let its merits speak for themselves, really. And then you guys can make the educated decision whether this is a game for you or not. I know early access is not for everybody, but I like to let you guys know everything that is entailed about the game. Maven says we don't have them. Heard something about sharks, Ange says. Skinning level will be easy as fuck with werewolves. Ange says, I'm totally kidding. Red says, shork. Maven's laughing at that. Maven says, I'm pretty sure there was a group of us that saw werewolves while playing recently. What? No way. I know that we saw a T-posing wyvern model that was reported. Red says, shut up. No, you didn't. Are you serious? Maven, you saw a werewolf? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're pulling my chain. There's no way. You saw a werewolf in game? You jest. Surely you jest. I don't buy it. Oh, Ginger Snaps. Oh, okay. You were watching Ginger Snaps on, I got you. You were watching it on stream. I got you. Okay. I think you're talking about in-game. I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. I would have swallowed my tongue. Starts smelting silver furiously. Oh my gosh. Maven says, I absolutely saw it while playing because we were all watching a movie. Yeah, I get where you're going with it now. Wording is very important, everybody. Guys, if you'd like to support my work here and staying independent, please click that join button down below. You get a lot of perks that go along with being a channel member. You get an upgraded star next to your name. Your name's in green. You get priority chat messages. You will eventually get discounts on merch once we bring that. I've got a lot going on right now. It's hard to keep up with all of it. I'm trying to get some merch developed. We may even have some Blood Brothers daggers that it may or may not be in the works. Maybe some Blood Brothers jewelry made by Maven in our community. She does a lot of jewelry making and silver work, some really great stuff. Make sure you guys check out her. Little shout out to Maven. Is it on Instagram? Is that where you post all your stuff? I think it's on Instagram, right? I want to get a link to your Instagram. She makes some great stuff, guys. Really, really great jewelry that is made to last a lifetime. So make sure you guys check out her stuff. We're going to have some merch potentially being made over there. Maybe some PAX Day stuff that she can make out of silver, like actual jewelry. Maybe some Blood Brothers stuff. Who knows? I know a lot of people want to get a real life Blood Brothers dagger. There you go, guys. There's her handle over on Instagram. Make sure you check out Moon Maven Makery and check out all the stuff she's got going on over there. Absolutely. No problem at all. She's going to be helping us make some merch. We're going to have some other merch as well eventually. I don't know when. I've been saying that for months now, but I get swamped with making videos for you guys and doing these live streams and keeping up with everything. But it is my pleasure to keep you all up to date with everything. Red says, hell yeah, Blood Brother clock rings. Oh my gosh, dude. How are you going to put rings on your clock that have Blood Brother? Every time that the hand goes to a new hour, I know exactly what you're talking about. I had to do a spin-off on it though, because I'm not talking about that. Red says for those old school, I'm not. No, I'm not happening. That's not what we're making, guys. I do clock pins too. Oh my gosh. Oh, what have I gotten myself into here? But guys, thank you for all the channel members. You guys can see their names. I'm going to get that updated with all the new names because we have several new channel members. You can see all of their names that will roll by in the credits. Oh, cloak pins. Okay. All in the credits, you can see all of the channel members who support the channel and make these possible and allow me to remain independent. Huge shout out to all of you. But unless you guys have any other burning questions about the stuff that we just talked about, there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline. Hopefully an interview with Osric. We'll see if we can't make that happen. A lot of good stuff to come from Mainframe, a lot of balancing and tweaks and changes. We have to bear with them in this transitional period. But the show of good faith that they are willing to communicate and give us explanations as to why they are talking about certain things and certain things are taking place in game the way they are, really, really great news for the community. I hope that we can get patch notes before things actually come out so we have time to talk about them. That'd be really, really nice. But we will see what the future holds for Mainframe and PAX Day. Thank you guys for tuning into this quite lengthy PaxCast. We're at 2 hours and 17 minutes now. It has become a quite lengthy PaxCast, but that's because we had a dev in here, and it's been a lot of fun to chat with him and you guys. I will see you guys over on Discord. For everybody who is wanting to play some games together, hop into some PAX Day. I will be hanging out with you guys after this stream. I got to get some food, though, and stretch my back so I don't get a Charlie horse down my whole spine again like last stream. But that's going to do it for now, guys. Until I see you in the next one, bye for now. Oh yeah, stay tuned for your favorite long-lost song, Brisket Warcry.
Brisket on the grill, now fill our bellies deep. Juicy, smoky, savory, warriors never sleep. Glistening, crushed, shining bright, there's a flavor near. Slice through all the tough times, tenderness so dear. Oh, brisket Warcry, taste that makes us strong. Low and slow we cook it, hear us sing our song. Smoky scents are rising, spices dance in air. Caramel crust inviting, brisket brings us there. Oh, brisket Warcry, taste that makes us strong. spices dance in air. Caramel crust inviting, brisket brings us there. Oh, brisket, walk right, flavor in each bite. Symphony of seasons makes our songs ignite. Of song. Batter so perfect, mouth watering just right. Chew that's so tender, brisket fuels our fight.
And why not a double feature?
We march into the fire, hearts ablaze with desire. Sword in hand, we stand tall. In the night, we never fall. With every beat of a drum, feel the power overcome. Armor gleams in the light. Side by side, we fight the night. Blood brothers, we unite. In the dark, we bring the light. Oh, sweet take are never broken. Honor's creed forever spoken. In the shadows, we persist. Challenge fate with iron fists. For the realm will stand and die. Paladins with battle cry. Wicked forces we defy. Underneath the blood-red sky. Steady aim and cool resolve. In this war we won't dissolve. Blood brothers, we unite. In the dark we bring the light. Oh, sweet take are never broken. Honor's creed forever spoken. Blood brothers, we unite. In the dark, we bring the light.